Hey there, it's another beautiful day. Let's watch some stuff.
DARPA and the government already want blue light everywhere so they can control you with it. That's the real answer behind this whole program. If you use blue light specifically, it actually destroys the dopamine reward tracks in your brain. Just so you know, Meta and Google today own those patents. Remember who's the Google patent attorney? Nicole Shanahan. So I said, Nicole, do you remember all the work you had to do? And she goes, yeah. She goes, I could never figure out what all this was about. Well, you need to know a little bit about Google's history. Google was formed in 1995 when DARPA gave the search algorithm to these two cats from Stanford. You know about Stanford now, right?
Mm-hmm.
You talked to me about Huberman, why they don't want to talk to me. You started to put two and two together yet?
Yeah.
So the issue is these guys created the internet. They connected all these colleges all over where the academicians were to share this information. So this information is going all around in this area. They basically then figure out and perfect the delivery of blue light technology through screens. Who is the big tech company in the 1950s and 60s that were doing this? Turns out that's IBM. And IBM is working on liquid crystalline displays. And I remember, this is in the 50s and 60s. You as a young man never saw those TVs until the 90s, okay? And then it got a boost from who? Obama, who made the analog to digital transition so that you'd have to use what? LCD screens. And then what else did he do? We're going to ban incandescent bulbs. Why? Because incandescent bulbs not only have fake blue light, but they also have purple and red, which is what you need as the antidote to blue.
They were banned?
Yeah, well, the first ban was from Obama saying, we're going to get rid of these under the guise that they're not energy efficient because they burn too much. You probably remember when you were a little kid, you touched the incandescent bulb, it's hot as shit.
Yeah.
Well, the proxy that they're using to you is, oh, well, they burn too much energy because they have UV light and red light in it, and that makes heat. So therefore, we should get rid of that, do blue. But
It's been said for quite a while now that they are trying to control us through our screens. So we have our phones, we have our computer monitors and our TVs. I didn't know that it was with the blue light. Isn't blue light also the one? No, it's ultraviolet. Ultraviolet is healing, right? Something like that. But everything is trying to take the dopamine out of your brain to make you all a little... Maybe it's the reptilians trying to steal our loosh. They make us all depressed and bummed out, and they're like, yeah, feed off of that energy. But I got my dopamine right here. Oh, remember when blue blockers came out and everyone's like, oh, wear these glasses, it'll protect your eyes from the blue? What if that was like the anti-reptilian movement? Oh my goodness. Okay, that's a whole other can of worms.
This might be the most chilling proof of time travel ever discovered. In 1923, archaeologists in Egypt uncovered a sealed tomb, but inside, they found something impossible, a photograph dated 1987. It showed a man in modern clothing, standing in front of the very same tomb, holding a camera. The man was identified as Elon Huck, a scientist who mysteriously vanished in 1987 while working on a classified government project called Kronos. The project's goal? To unlock the secrets of time travel. But after Huck disappeared, the project was shut down. On the back of the photograph, a chilling message was scrawled, I tried to stop it, but the loop is inevitable. Then, in 1980, another photograph surfaced. This time, it showed Elon Huck again, but now, he was decades older, standing in front of the same tomb. The date on the photo? 2025. Experts were stunned. How could a man exist in 3 different timelines? And what did he mean by, the loop is inevitable? The final clue was found in Huck's 1987 lab notes. Time isn't linear, it's a loop, and I'm trapped in it. But here's the twist. In 2023, a team of researchers reopened the tomb. Inside, they found a camera, the same one from the photographs. When they developed the film, it showed a picture of them standing in the tomb, dated 2045.
What? Is that real? I mean, I don't know if it's real. I didn't go looking it up or anything like that, but That sounds absolutely fantastic. I have become more inclined to believe that time is not linear and it's just all happening all at once and we're just experiencing it in a certain path because I don't know why, but there's something being hidden in that timey-wimey mess. Perhaps the ability to cross into a different time and experience things at a different time. I mean, that's pretty cool.
Called Coca-Cola, so does it have cocaine in it? Turns out, yeah, trace amounts. Back
Still?
in the beginning. No.
In the beginning.
Yeah, but this is what's interesting about the history of the drink. So this is 1886. Back then, the coca leaf was actually seen as something that was
Medicinal.
Medicinal,
Innocuous.
Absolutely. And everyone was using the coca leaf. I mean, there was a drink called Vin Mariani. It was actually a wine, a red wine that was mixed with coca leaves.
Wow.
So it kind of had a little kick to it. And like Queen Victoria of England drank this stuff. Ulysses S. Grant, our president, was like, woo, coca wine. This is awesome. And even the Pope, actually. And I wonder if communion would have had, Vin Mariani, we would all be Catholic or something. But so it was really popular. And this guy who was down on his luck, John Pemberton, who started Coca-Cola in Atlanta, he wanted to make a coca drink himself. And so he made this. Originally, Coke was actually a wine. It was like a wine of coca. It was a red wine mixed with coca leaves. Exact knockoff of that drink that was really popular. And then Prohibition hits Atlanta, because we're in the Protestant South in the 1880s. And so he has to take out the alcohol. And so he creates this non-alcoholic drink, Coca-Cola.
It was in the early 1900s when they started using a non-coconized extract from the coca leaf. But cocaine is still used very, very rarely as a medicine, even today. It's a Schedule 1, which means it's highly addictive, obviously. But things were different back then. And it's no secret. I mean, it's pretty well known, but it's cool to get a little bit of history on it.
What if I told you that not everyone you meet is actually human? Sounds insane, right? But think about it. Have you ever spoken to someone who just felt off? Maybe their words came out too smoothly, their reactions slightly delayed, like they were following a script. It's almost like they're mimicking human behavior, but not quite feeling it. There's a theory that among us, there are individuals who aren't like the rest. They look human, they act human, but deep down, something is missing. Some say they're part of a long-term experiment, studying us, adapting, blending in so well that even they might not realize what they truly are. The unsettling part, they don't make mistakes, they never slip up, their emotions seem calculated, their expressions rehearsed. They never hesitate, never forget a name, never fumble their words. It's like they're programmed to be perfect. And if you've ever noticed something off about someone, if you've ever had that eerie feeling that something wasn't quite right, what if they noticed you too? What if the moment you suspected them was the moment they locked onto you? Because if they're here to study us, to blend in, the last thing they want is to be exposed. So next time you're out, look around, watch closely. Someone nearby might not be who they claim to be. And the real question is, if they know that you know what happens next. But hey, this is just a story, right? For entertainment purposes only.
I get that feeling when I'm like at the grocery store. Like most of the people there are like NPCs. Like they're not really there, but they're there. It makes me feel like, am I actually here? I personally don't like big, huge crowds. I won't stand in line for anything. And I just feel like, I don't know, like people around me aren't actually people. Which is a little scary inside of my head, a little bit sometimes. But what if I'm a thing? What if I'm the one that doesn't know that what if you are? Maybe it's you.
What if the Earth isn't real, but rather we're living in a controlled biodome? Think about this for a minute. Every ancient civilization has talked about this. A firmament above us, something that's separating us from everything else. NASA even tried to break in the 60s with Operation Fishbowl. What were they really trying to hit? Why do rockets curve rather than going straight up? Why are there reports of strange ripples in the sky? Could it be that space isn't an endless void, but rather the ceiling to our enclosure? If we're inside of an enclosure, right, someone had to have built it, but who? Was it an ancient, advanced civilization, or even aliens? Or are we just an experiment in a massive simulation? Is this a real-life Truman Show? Are we prisoners inside of a system that is just too big to see? Comment down below and follow for more untold truths.
There are scientific explanations for pretty much everything she said there, but you've gotta consider the source. My conspiracy brain is like, scientists are bought and paid for, and then my brain also says, hey, you learned that these things are true, like everything that she said is wrong. But at the same time, you know, there's a conflict going on inside of my brain with all this stuff. And I don't think that we're living in a biodome. Biodome. Have you seen that movie? Oh, it's stupid hilarious. Anyway, I don't think that we're living in a biodome. I don't think there's a firmament. But like I said, you gotta think about where this information is coming from. Even though I don't believe certain things, doesn't mean that they're not true.
Did we or didn't we? On July 20th, 1969, the world watched as humanity took its first steps on the moon. Or did we? For decades, skeptics have questioned every frame, every shadow, and every flutter of the American flag. They ask, how did the flag wave in the vacuum of space? Why are there no stars in the photos? And how did we achieve such a feat with less computing power than a modern smartphone? The official story: 400,000 NASA employees and contractors worked tirelessly for a decade. The Saturn V rocket, still the most powerful ever built, carried 3 brave astronauts across 238,900 miles of space. The Skeptic's Story, a Hollywood production directed by Stanley Kubrick, fresh off 2001, A Space Odyssey, filmed in secret sound stages in the Nevada desert. 2 narratives. On one hand, it's humanity's greatest achievement, but on the other, it's one of history's biggest hoaxes. What's your take on the moon landing?
I'm still team we went to the moon, but what is your take on the moon landing? It is super interesting the way that they put it like that. Like the computing power is less than what we hold in the palms of our hands these days, yet, yeah, it makes my brain do funny things.
Do you know what's not normal? It's not normal to get up at 6:30 in the morning, to get your kids rushing ready for school, to shove them out the door, to fight with each other, in order for them to go to a place where they're not actually getting educated, they're getting indoctrinated. Do you know what else is not normal? It's not normal to just have a couple of hours with your partner in the evening, after work, when you're tired, when the last thing you've got on your mind is actually, you just want to de-stress and all you do is argue, right? Do you know what else is not normal? It's not normal having to live month to month on a wage, knowing that if one day you were to lose your job, that's it. You'd lose your house, you'd lose your car, you'd lose everything, right? That's not normal. And we've been sold this as a normal way of living, like this is life. That's not life. That's survival. It's literally clutching at straws in order to just get through to the next day. We've been sold this lie, this game, which doesn't benefit us in any way, shape or form. All it does is benefit the people at the top, the owners of the corporations, the billionaires, the people who take advantage of the fact that you don't feel good, that your health is bad, that you feel depressed. So they sell you solutions to your problems in order to make themselves money. And that little bit of money that you have, you spend it on shit to try and make yourself feel better. And all the time, they're just getting richer and richer and richer and richer. And your life isn't changing, because the alcohol that you buy, the nicotine that you buy, the drugs that you buy, the Netflix that you watch, all of these things you do to kind of make yourself feel better don't actually solve the internal problem, which is the fact that life is not meant to be lived in this way. And when you change your life to a life that you actually love, then you don't need the Netflix subscription, you don't need the alcohol, you don't need the drugs, you don't need the nicotine, you don't need the constant fighting with your partner. You have time to spend with your children, you have time to spend with your family, you have time to spend with your partner. You do the things that you enjoy, not the things that you hate, right? But of course, in order to do that, you need to change the mindset of the way that you're thinking. You need to change the things that you do. You need to change how you feel, which is what I've been in the process of doing for the last 2 years, right? And so I want to share with you what I've done. And I've written it all down in a book called The Path to Abundance. Now, you're going to say to me, oh, Philip, well, you're just profiting off trying to, you're just doing the same thing as the billionaires. You're trying to profit off people not feeling good. Yeah, perhaps, maybe. All right. But the book's £7 and it lays out exactly what you need to do in order to change your life to make it the way you want it. Now, £7 is 2 coffees from Costa's. If you can give up 2 coffees from Costa's, you can change your life. What are you waiting for? Click the link in my bio, go download it.
So it was a little bit of a commercial, but the point he made at the beginning is really, spot on, because that's what it is. This world is a rat race, and I'm hoping we're seeing some change, because what this world has become is just working so hard to get nowhere. And I don't know if it is changing your mindset. Maybe you need a change of location. We're actually planning a move this summer, which is super exciting and terrifying all at the same time, because apparently it's everywhere. Getting out of California is a struggle in and of itself, but how hard is it to survive in all the other states? But I don't know. Has anybody read the book? Is it good? Should I give it a gander?
February 28th, the 24-hour economic blackout. No Amazon, no Walmart, no fast food, no gas, not a single unnecessary dollar spent. For one day, we are going to finally turn the tables.
Maybe you've seen segments like this on your social feeds. This call for an economic blackout has been spreading, and activists are urging Americans to refrain from making any purchases at major retailers on Friday. The nationwide protest comes as people continue to endure rising prices on everything from food and gas to housing and utilities.
What is with this boycott mentality? Now, I'm guilty of it myself. I have been like, hey, I'm not going to buy from this place because they did this certain thing. But the reality of it that people don't seem to understand is that you're not hurting these big corporations. There will still be money tomorrow. There was money yesterday while everybody's stocked up for today. But they're hurting the employees, because as soon as the income drops, they start laying off people. Now, I've gotten out of the boycott mentality because of that. I don't want to hurt my neighbors just because they have a different political belief. That's ridiculous.
So liberals are boycotting on February 28th, calling it an economic blackout. So their goal for 24 hours is to get no gas, no fast food, no major retail stores, don't support Target, Amazon, Best Buy, Meta, Tesla, Uber. If you have to spend money, only shop at small local businesses. And the irony with that is, are you gonna confirm who the person voted for that has a small business? 24 hours is going to do nothing for those companies. That's like a normal day. No one shops at those places every single day. And the irony is, the word got out, and us conservatives are gonna have a shopping spree. We're gonna intentionally overspend on the 28th now. And also, mind you, these places are major retail stores. Are they stocking up in advance? So it's counterintuitive? Like they're prepping for the boycott? Make it make sense. Liberals, next time you want to boycott, keep it on the down low, okay? Because now we're gonna go shop. And Republicans, enjoy February 28th as the most peaceful, therapeutic, and fun day there was to go shopping. God bless ya.
No, I don't have any plans to not shop anywhere that I planned on shopping today, and I didn't plan to go shopping anywhere today, and I'm not gonna go spend more money than I need to, because the whole thing is just silly. But I can't wait to see what comes of it. We're in the midst of it right now as I'm recording, but I'm gonna check in on it and see if it did anything. Hopefully it was just a wash and people are just being dumb and petty.
You've been trained to picture aliens as monsters ready to destroy, but that's just a false story, a carefully crafted illusion. What they don't want you to know is that the real aliens, the ones actually here, they look just like you and me. Not all of them, mind you, but a majority of these so-called aliens or people who aren't from this world look so human. You could be sitting right next to one on a plane or in line at the grocery store or even having a casual conversation conversation in the park, and you'd never know. You'd never know you were speaking to someone not born on this planet. Now, let me be perfectly clear. This is not just some wild theory. This information I'm giving could very likely be true. Because think about it. Why is that we've never found any aliens? Like, you would think that in this age of technology and cameras that we don't have a single proof of aliens. It's crazy. Well, that's because they are already here. You weren't supposed to know this, but here it is. These people, these visitors have been here all along, hiding in plain sight, but they don't want you to realize this. They'd rather you imagine aliens with laser guns. They are already here, and they always have been. This is not a fact, just a theory.
All right, whoever made this messed up just a little bit because they're like, it's not a conspiracy theory. It's very possible that maybe, and then at the end it's like, oh, it's just a theory. But you contradicted yourself quite a few times. And I'm not getting on them because I contradict myself constantly. But I do believe that aliens are here, and I do believe that they very well possibly look just like us. And I also believe that there's a very good possibility that they've been here for millions of years and they've just adapted with us to keep an eye on us for why I don't know. But yeah, I believe it. All right, now the moment we've all been waiting for. Let's carry on with our story.
When I pull myself up, I'm pushed against that smooth area. And then the thing, it started reacting. Wherever my skin would make surface contact around my hand, cascading down its side would be these really pretty blue and white waves, kind of like that wave motion machine you set in front of executives to keep them calm. Little device you can buy.
Blue and white as in like light, or what did it look like?
It had its own luminosity. You could see it outside of the other material. It actually glowed a little bit and would run down its side. You pull your hand off of it and would dissipate at the most outer reach and then come back to where the original contact was, and that'd be the final area that would dissipate. So,
Did you feel any electrical charge or anything as that happened? Any heat?
No heat, but there was something going on because I noticed the hair on my arm was standing up. So but it wasn't any electrical charge, maybe static, but I didn't get a shock. But you could definitely feel something going on. And so I lift off of it, and I turned around and looked at Rudolph, and I put my hand on it, and they're watching it, right? And the way their faces look, I looked at them and said, I took my hand off and I'm looking at their faces and I take my hand back on it and they're looking at it and I went, y'all haven't seen this before, have you? Huh? And they got mad over that. And so apparently they can't get a reaction.
It likes you.
I guess. If the cat would be purring, I guess. But I asked Rudolph, can I climb up on top? He said, go, Air Force. No. Yeah, go ahead. So I get up on top, and you're walking down what looks like, it's really weird. It looks like a giant spinal column with vertebrates.
Wow.
And there's a bone plate that I would say it was probably about 4 feet wide. And then the vertebrates out, and then that makes it very easy to walk. So I just step over the vertebrates. And then I notice in between the vertebrates, there's this big bundle of, looks like fiber optics. But it's not really fiber optics because it's got a fluid running through it. Now, the best way I can describe this fluid is when we were kids, you fall and hurt your knees, get skinned. Your mom would come at you with this bottle, and you're going to hate this because it's called methylate. And it's going to burn like holy fire when it hits your skin. But the color of methylate was so unique. It's bluish, orange, green, iridescent. You hold it up to the sunlight, the bottle, it was gorgeous looking. Well, anyway, that's the kind of fluid running through these tubes.
Weird.
And they run all the way down the whole length of the spinal column, but then lean over and look down, and it's really cool. These fibers break out of the trunk case, almost every vertebrate, and they spread out, running down its sides. And when you back up from it, like down on the floor, you can see it clearly then. It looked like a human's neural synaptic firing system.
Was it breathing?
That was something I checked for. Remember I put my hands on it?
Yeah.
I was stood there and I was being real quiet and I was looking for a pulse.
Right.
Or breathing. Didn't feel anything. But by God, it wouldn't surprise me if it did.
Yeah.
If it sneezed, I wouldn't have jumped. You know? So anyway, I'm walking down and I'm heading toward, and I think of a figure eight, an hourglass.
Mm-hmm.
A figure eight where they cross over.
Mm-hmm.
Right at the crossover on, God, I don't know what's front and back on this thing, but side facing out to us, there was a hole that was deep.
A hole?
A hole.
Like it had been shot and damaged?
Yeah, and to make things more confusing,
We'll have to find out on Monday. The story is actually getting pretty good. I hope you're enjoying it. I'm going to call it for today. Thank you so much for sharing your time with me. Please come on back in a couple of days. We're going to watch some new stuff. I'll say different things, and it's going to be fantastic. Until then, have a wonderful day. What? 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 Now, I don't know if that's factual because you know me, I don't do the research most of the time. I just tell you what I think, and I think I don't know what I think about that because I do think that time is not linear. It's a timey-wimey mess thing. It's like that movie, The Thing, where the people become the thing and they don't even know that they're the thing, but they're still being themselves, trying to convince you that they're not the thing without knowing that they are the thing. That's crazy. What if there's a lot of people out here that actually are like, you know, messed up and they don't know? We'll have to wait until Monday to find out what's more